Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to coverage of LSRTV and CRN Sports for the Northwest iRacing Cup Series. I'm Wesley Outland alongside is Samuel Dyer. My colleague and partner, Greg Rentz, has been swamped with obviously real racing obligations with work going on with the starting of school again. He is going to be taken off for probably this week and the next week and come back after Labor Day. So my color analyst is my bud in California, Samuel Dyer. Again, I'm in North Carolina, and deep in the heart of Texas at the LSRTV production truck is Charles Wooten. Those that are watching on our broadcast feed, we welcome you, and we're ready. Samuel, Kentucky Speedway. This is going to be a fun time at Virtual Sparta, and this is again coverage of the outdoor cast iron cooking 200, and these drivers ready to go. 2 races left, Samuel. The penultimate race of the regular season is tonight. What do you think we're going to see at Kentucky?
Yeah, I mean, this is the pressure is on for these drivers, recognizing that there is not a lot of options for some of the guys. Some drivers are in must-win territory. Other drivers are recognizing that they have an opportunity to gain a lot of points. So a lot of drivers that are around that bubble marker of where points are at are going to have to think about, when do I want to make my surge forward? And I think a lot of the drivers that are around that cut line of 13th to 14th in points, they've got to be aiming for a top 10 in here today, or even aim for a top 5 if they want to make sure they are set for next week. Because next week, you do not want to be in any danger zone with points. You want to be locked in before we go super speedway racing.
It is crunch time, and of course, there are some drivers, I think 6 to 8 drivers, that have a sigh of relief, that factor, because they know that they're going to race for a championship in the first round of the playoffs, Samuel. But for everyone else, there's still about 4 spots left for grabs. And obviously, if you've played all season, you've paid your dues, you've done everything you need to do, and you just need that one win on the cusp of getting a victory, like a Kevin Smith or somebody like, one of the guys we've mentioned, Justin Yee, who's been so close several times on the Cup and Truck Series. You just need to have some of that luck go your way, and we can say that. We've seen what Caden Anderson's done recently. I picked Dan West Jr. to win Wednesday night. He did it in the truck race at Phoenix. So there's a lot of cool things that are going on. We just everything's got to go your way. There's got to be a stroke of some virtual good luck here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of those other drivers you're touching on, I mean, the Beaver State boys, I think they are the main drivers that have been on a heat streak of finding their pace. It's the wins that they're really looking for. I mean, look at Tyler King and also Stephen O'Hare. Those 2 drivers have been on great tears of just consistent runs. They're the ones that I'm really looking out for to try to aim for another top 5 type of finish here tonight.
All right. Picks are in. Samuel Dyer, who you're riding with tonight. But before we get Samuel, let's get our producer, him's pick, Charles Wooten. Who is he picking tonight? Unveil? And obviously we know who it is. He's not even going to take the time to put it across the screen. He forgot to do it is what it is. I'm just covering for him. But his pick, as always, Billings, Montana, Jeff Stabnow. He said he's going to be his ride or die, his virtual Bonnie and Clyde. Somehow, some way, he's picking Jeff Stabnow to finally go to victory lane. So, Samuel, who are you going with tonight at Kentucky, my friend?
Well, originally I was picking Lake Peterson, but he didn't show up, it was looking like, so I had to make a late swap. Dan West Jr. is going to be my pick as a secondary pick, and this 55 team really looking strong. He won at Las Vegas earlier this season, another mile-and-a-half course, and I was looking at some of the other drivers that have won at mile-and-a-half courses, and I think Dan West Jr., compared to Las Vegas to Kentucky, there's some small aspects that are similar, and that's why I had to go with the 55.
So you called the audible. How dare you? You should have stuck with who you had. No. His pick was Lake Peterson. The man's won, 3-4 races this year in the Northwest Cup Series. Not here tonight. Honestly, it really doesn't matter. He's punched his ticket into the playoffs, more or less. We'll go over that list here in a moment once we go back to on-track activity. All right, drum roll, please. My pick is Sean Brightsman. And here's the reason why I picked Dan West Jr. to win at Phoenix the other night, because I look at the talent that he had in the Truck Series. You look at Sean Brightsman, defending Cup Series out of Puyallup, Washington, the champion from Washington, now resided in Tucson, Arizona. He won so close to winning the race on Monday night at Phoenix over Cody Anderson, like by 2/100ths of a second. And again, when it was all said and done, the defending champion does well here at Kentucky Motor Speedway. So that is why I am going with Sean Brightsman. Hey, if you're watching our broadcast on our Ultra 4K HD quality at LSRTV on YouTube, go ahead, put it in the chat box who your picks are, who you're riding with, and we'll be back around halftime to kind of give you a scenario of how things are looking up. We're ready to go. Coming up, we'll take a look at the race on Texas 411, the sawblade.com weather conditions as we get ready for the penultimate race of the regular season for the Northwest iRacing Cup Series. Stick around. Again, it's presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group. When we come back, it is the Outdoor Cast Iron Cooking 200 from virtual Kentucky Speedway.
Every customer, every single time, needs to get our very best. From moment one, my goal managing a team here in the dealership is to make sure that that customer's experience is the very best that they've ever had. We expect and demand total transparency. There should never be a time in that transaction where the customer is wondering or not quite sure of what they're buying or what they're paying or those sorts of things. And having that transparency and doing things the right way is super important.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, S&B Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the community radio network at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Welcome back to coverage of the Outdoor Cast Iron Cooking 200 for the drivers of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series. It is presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group, Wesley Outland, and of course, is Samuel Dyer is alongside. We get ready real quickly to give you the starting lineup, but first, let's take a look at the race on Texas 411. Down below the bottom left of the monitor, you will see it now. 30-minute practice done. Qualifying is done. 200 miles, 134 laps. Again, it's presented by Race on Texas. If you're in the Arkansas area, hook up with RaceOnTexas.com to see some awesome short track racing for dirt, pavement, drag, funny cars, you name it, as well as the prestigious Lone Star 600 in October. RaceOnTexas.com. To the bottom right is the sawblade.com weather conditions. Nighttime, Samuel, under the lights. It's about same virtual and track temp. 82 degrees, 87 for track temp. Wind speed at 8 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies. Going to be a good night of racing. Again, this race will start at night, so that means you ain't got to worry about the transition from day to nightfall and the setup on the cars as well along the way.
Yeah, it's going to be smooth compared to the weather for these drivers. And yeah, the touching on the fact that it's not a transition, that means the drivers can find their rhythm early on how this car is going to be reacting and kind of just build on that throughout the rest of the night. You don't have to worry about this track slipping on you or starting to cool off. You can gain more grip. So you just have to stay focused. This first stint going to be so important for all these drivers.
Well, let's rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. Without a further ado, here is your Team 126 Racing starting lineup. Cue up some music for us in the background. Rock and roll. Dan West Jr. Car's not popped in yet. There he is. He's on the pole out of Shelton, Washington to the outside. Sean Brightsman, ironically, Truck Series champion, Cup champion, row 1. And my pick as well as Samuel's pick, row 2. Stephen O'Hare in the 41. Justin Yee, I mentioned his name earlier. Could it be an upset and a chance for him to win, to go to the playoffs? Row number 3 on the grid. We'll find Jeff Stab now. That's our producer's pick to the outside. Kevin Smith, he's been strong in the last couple of weeks. Row number 4 on the grid. We will find Ryan Bloom and Matt Gelder. And around out your top 10 of Kentucky. Get it ready for Carl Burke and Clifford. Toby Ritter's your top 10.
Going to be dropping back to row number 6. We find Chris White, the winner from Charlotte on week number 10, as well as John Ottenbacher to his outside. Row number 7 going to be that of Tyler King, another one of those Beaver State drivers has been looking quick with speed, with that of Brian Reynolds to his outside. Row number 8 going to be bringing Aaron Cooper and Judd Wakefield, both drivers looking for some top 10 finishes for themselves. Well, they got a lot of work to move their way forward. Row number 9 going to be finding that of Frank Harris as well as Stephen Paulison. Both these drivers, again, mentality top 15. Dennis Moore, Casey Garber finishing out your row 10.
There you go. Cole Raz will be in the back in row 11, along with Corey Walters, top 11 rows. BJ Tidrick, row number 12 of the 72. Scott Hutchinson to the outside. Row number 13 on the grid, we'll find Troy Daggett by himself. That's the lineup, 25 cars ready. Pace car is in. We are set and ready to rock and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 races before the playoffs, and we are set for the outdoor cast iron cooking 200. They come to the Geico restart zone. Creeping, crawling, Dan West Jr. on the gas, and we're underway. We're kicking the asphalt Kentucky way. Watching them as they work out at turn number 2 down that back straightaway. Dan West Jr. getting the whole shot. He leads them. Stephen O'Hare in second. They're stabbed now up the outside, Samuel. Here comes Sean Brightsman. We're live on LSRTV and on the Community Radio Network after a great volleyball broadcast debut today, this afternoon. Now our esports coverage every Monday, Wednesday night, and a battle for the second spot heating up with West out in front out of 2.
Dan West Jr. ahead, and he's got Stephen O'Hare in that of Jeff Stabnow. Stabnow trying to make that outside line work currently, but you know for a fact that we're going to be seeing this 66, Justin Yee, as well as that of Sean Bridesman. They're going to do their best to also hound that are in our top 10, but, you know, one of the drivers is further back that I'm kind of surprised about. Cole Raz back in 19th place. He's got a lot of work to do, but up front, the battle for the lead also might be kicking up.
On the inside, look at that 0-2. That's Gelder making a run on Brightsman. And how about this? Jeff Stabnow. He's out in front, Samuel. What a run for the number 24. And pulling away by almost half a second on Stephen O'Hare as they go to turn number 1.
Yeah, Jeff Stabnow up 3 positions and just trying to be a rocket ship right now. Trying to catch up to his teammate. I think it's one of the biggest goals at the moment, but man, what a move for himself. Just moving up further and further up. Jeff Stabnow in the lead, but holy moly. Dan West Jr. losing ground quickly. He's back down to 4th.
Everybody in a comfortable pack right now as they work their way back down below the start-finish line. Another lap on the board. We again are underway. A lot of racing left to go. Just getting things started. Working lap 5 of 134 in the cast iron outdoor cooking 200. There's Dan West Jr., the number 55, trying to reel in Justin Yee. Yee to the inside, O'Hare to the outside. They're 2 by 2 as they work their way off of turn 4. Well, that goes on. Dan West Jr. too high, Sammy D, and that lets Jeff Stabnow pull away. O'Hare goes now to P2 and 1.
Yeah, I mean, right now, it just seems like we saw that a Bridesman trying that high line. He kind of got trapped up there, and you're just carrying a little bit too much speed into turn number 3, it looked like, for Dan West Jr. This time gets back in line, and looking at how the drivers are attacking, obviously the most preferred lane is running down low at that white line or even a groove higher than that. If drivers are going to make that second to third groove really work, they're going to have to work on and stay on that lane for at least 30 to 50 laps. It's going to be that mid to halfway point, mid to the later half of this race that we're going to be seeing drivers possibly think about using those higher grooves.
Coming up on lap number 7 now. And this race already good in the opening go of things. People definitely being patient and not making any crazy moves as here comes now Dan West Jr. going after Tyler King. Tyler King has improved in weeks coming up before the playoffs starting. Definitely could put himself in contender status. They work their way
definitely
back across the start-finish line. And check this out. A multi-camera now, if you will. Look at this, Samuel Dyer. Just some of the new technology that we've been working on. Charles Wooten, Jeff Stabnow, Rocket Media, to make the LSRTV broadcast even more excitable. There's Dan West Jr. There's the action cam to the left. And you're on board with Dan West Jr. trying to get around Justin Yee as he works off of turn number 4.
Yeah, I mean, this is awesome to see the multi-cam here. Charles has been excited for this to come out, but getting to see on board as well as getting to see the battle itself from an outer view. And right now on board, you can just see how Dan West Jr. is trying to attack, trying to figure out where to really position himself to get past Justin Yee of the 66 Bumblebee machine in front of the 55. And then you see on the left, that of Dan West Jr., he was under heavy fire from Tyler King for a moment, but side by side for that second place position.
Watch this now. Watch this exit as they work their way into the corner. As you see, Justin Yee, and he's about to go to the inside, to the outside. Stephen O'Hare, Dan West Jr. Boy, they were about to stick it 3 wide for a moment. He thought better of it. Now they'll fan back out single file. Stephen O'Hare down to the inside on Justin Yee's car now as they cross the stripe and go back to turn 1. Working lap 10 next time by.
Trying to do a crossover move was Stephen O'Hare, but just did not have the momentum out of the corner and falling back. And as we look at some of the drivers that are trying to move their way forward, Tyler King, one of the biggest movers right now, up 8 positions for himself in the 21. And behind him, Ryan Bloom in that 25 machine, another one of those drivers that's been trying to stay consistent and trying to get as many points as possible to make it into our top 12 and battle for a playoff.
Lap 11 of 134. There's Sean Brightsman. Right there, the 46 car. We're going to pick up that battle going on as he now works his way in through the field, coming after Cole Raz, one of the Alan Kwiatkowski driver development competitors, as well as runs on the Spears SRL Southwest Tour. The number 10 of Razzle Dazzle, Cole Raz. And behind him, the 83, Christopher White. By the way, Chris White will be filling in for me on the rest of the LTAC Cup Series season. And I think there's just one more race left on Friday night. Am I right, Samuel?
Yeah, LTAC having their championship final race this Friday night. Going to be at Darlington, and a bunch of the drivers been setting up some throwback schemes for that night. So it's going to be a fun one for LTAC, and really it's going to be a hard-fought battle to see who's going to win. It's really between Joseph, who's won 2 of the races in this championship round and trying to win his 3rd, as well he's got that of Holden McGill trying to take that championship away, and can't wait to see how that one's going to conclude Friday night, LTAC.
The LTAC Cup Series, again, the championship, not like a points elimination type deal. It's been basically, not a win and you're in type deal, go to the next round. You literally have raced, and wins are accumulated with points, and the points tallies will be broken down at the end of this race at Darlington. And what a fitting place to determine the champion. We have about 120 laps to go, as officially now 114 laps are in. Jeff Stabnow is leading the way. What a great job for the driver out of Billings, Montana. Could tonight be the night for the 24? The LSRTV 4K Ford has struggled all season long, and then it's been a roller coaster ride. He's had good finishes, consistent finishes. He's punched his way to the playoffs, as there you see the leader. And while that goes on the multi-camera shot, the battle for second, Justin Yee. Behind him, of course, is that driver of Stefano. And you see this battle for second. While that goes on, Jeff Stabnow, Samuel from the left, he's in his own little world.
Yeah, it's been crazy to watch how far he was pulling away from everyone else and just continue to gap the rest of the field. But it's just looking at some of the last lap times, he is, as well as O'Hare, slowly chipping away and gaining all that ground back, which that's one of the things here at Kentucky. You can have all the grip in the world in those first, 10 to 15 laps and really burn off your tires. But if you're aggressive early on, it's going to be the drivers that were waiting that will catch you back up and most likely make the pass. So for Jeff Stabnow, he's got to be concerned because he is being caught currently right now by Justin Yee.
Again, our colleague Greg Rance taking off for a couple of weeks, just trying to have a little breather, if you will, a vacation from the virtual esports world. Going to, focus on the real races, obviously Wenatchee and some other big races coming up. I saw some announcements on that. And then in addition to that, starting back with school and being the bus driver and dealing with the kids yelling and all the craziness that goes on with that. So definitely he needs just a little bit of a breather. So he'll be back after probably Labor Day is what the conversations were. But definitely enjoy working with Greg Rance. I always enjoy working as well with an up-and-coming star of Samuel Dyer in the broadcast booth, and he will be filling in on his absence. Charles Wooten in the production chair, and we hope you're enjoying just some of the awesome work, which is the sights, the sounds, the video, the production, the graphics that has been going on in the last, I would say, Samuel, 10 days, 14 days, just to make things better. I mean, they have done work around the clock. We've been guinea pigs like lab rats for special ideas of treatment to see how things develop, and we're very, very excited about what this product is going to be, as it's a new LSRTV. It's starting to really come up with a lot of cool ideas as we're working lap 20 next time by. And Samuel, what's your take of it so far, buddy? It's been an awesome ride.
Yeah, it certainly has. It has been a lot of long nights of trying to get all of this prepared and kind of, like I said, being a little bit of guinea pigs for Charles to get all of his little widgets here or there set up. And it's been a blast getting all of this set up for ourselves. And as we're talking about all the new things LSR TV is getting set up, Jeff Stabnow has been caught. He has now only got a half a second lead over that of Justin Yee. And these last about 5 laps, he has been running a 10 or 2/10 faster than Stabnow. Got to be careful as well. O'Hare trying to make his move forward.
Lap 21 of 134. There's Stephen O'Hare, the rear deck lid of his car. Justin Yee trying to reel him in as well as they come back around the start-finish line. And there is Jeff Stabnow and Stephen O'Hare closing in. This is for Gerard with the second-place car coming after Stabnow. And Stabnow stays in his own line. Doesn't look like he seems perturbed in any way by the 41. In his own comfort zone, if you will, off of turn 4 through the dog leg of the tri-oval here at Kentucky. Back across the line. And battle of Ford. 1 and 2, and Stabnow on the point down into turn 1.
Yeah, right now Stabnow just running about a half a groove higher, so still defending through the corner. Not enough space for O'Hare to really make a pass. If O'Hare's going to be making this pass at all, he's got to get under the 24 on either the front stretch or the back stretch. Unless you see Stabnow do that, staying extremely high, about 2 grooves higher than the yellow line, which is now giving the momentum for a second there to the 41 out of Stephen O'Hare. He's going to try every single move that he can. And also looking at some of the last laps that have been put down, got to watch out for that of Dan West Jr. The harder these top 3 battle, the closer the 55 will come in and make it a 4-horse battle.
So if you're looking on the top of the ticker, it's the Northwest iRacing Truck Series presented by Tom Ditchell Automotive Group. It's the Cup Series. There's a little graphic you got to fix there, Charles. I just popped and found that on the top ticker. But anyhow, it is showing the rundown, and it is showing the interval back on the racetrack with those drivers. You see it in real time, the ticker on the bottom as they work their way back down the back straightaway. With Jeff Stabnow still out in that number 1 position. Dan West Jr. has fell back to 4th. Started this race in the outside of the front row. Actually started on the pole, my apologies. Well, meanwhile, let's give you the full field rundown. We're on lap number 25 here in the Cast Iron Outdoor Cooking 200 at Kentucky. Jeff Stabnow is leading the way. Stephen O'Hare is second. Justin Yee is third. Dan West Jr. is 4th. Ryan Bloom is 5th. Sean Breitzman is in 6th. Cole Raz is 7th. Chris White 8th. Dennis Moore 9th. And Matt Gelder is the top 10.
11th place going to be that of Tyler King, with that of Kevin Smith, as well as Carl Burke going to be in 13th and 12th. And 14th we'll find that of Toby Ritters, as well as in 15th that of Casey Garber, BJ Tindrick in 16th, Troy Daggin 17th, that Brian Reynolds, as well as Judd Wakefield battling for 18th and 19th. And in 20th we find that of Corey Walters.
Stephen Paulison is in 21st. Scott Hutchinson is 22nd. Aaron Cooper, 23rd. Frank Harris on the racetrack is 24th and 25th. About 15 seconds back is John Ottenbacher. So far, no caution flags as we work the completion of lap number 27. And it is the driver leading the way currently of Jeff Stabnow. And all cars are currently on the lead lap. Nobody has came down to the pit lane just yet as well. Sometime later tonight, we'll do our full field rundown with the aerial view of all the cars around the racetrack. We started that last week. That was pretty fun. Aerial coverage, as always, is presented by All American Pools here for the Northwest iRacing Cup Series, presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group. We're closing in on lap number 30. Jeff Stabnow out in front. Stephen O'Hare second. There's Justin Yee. They're all staying down to the inside. Top 3. There's Ryan Bloom. Sean Breitzman there having a nice little battle with Cole Raz. I think that's the best battle on the racetrack heating up. As also closing in. Keeping an eye on that car. Yes.
What a charge he's been having. He's gone up 14 positions for himself. But this is we've been just popping back and forth. We got this great battle that's going on for 6th place. Cole Raz making the pass on Sean Breitzman. Now going to be moving up 15 positions from where he started back in 21st spot. And
whoa!
Breitzman, watch out. That apron is not friendly. And he's able to hold on for that 46.
Talk about Sean Breitzman dirt tracking it. What a save in the number 46. I don't know if we can get a replay of that. And we got problems for Jeff Stabnow, guys. We've just been told Jeff Stabnow's in trouble in 24.
He is blinking, internet issues, and he continues to drop
wow.
in and out. There's been a couple of drivers that I've been noting and seeing that they've been dropping in and out with connection-wise, but Jeff Stabnow for about a half a lap was gone, and now here comes Stephen O'Hare with a chance to get the lead.
Inside, O'Hare going to carry a wingman with Yee with him on the bottom. Stuck on the outside lane, up in the Angels Expressway is Stabnow. Yee can't decide where he wants to go, left or right. One lap, it's O'Hare he'll run with. Then he'll run with Stabnow. Stabnow, the stronger car on the outside lane. O'Hare back on the bottom, and they are going to be side by side off 2.
Justin Yee, whoever he picks, he's going to be helping them on the straightaways and trying to give them a little bit of a boost draft-wise, but it's in the corners where O'Hare is kind of preferred. Yee might think about 3 wide, though.
Boy, oh boy. Justin Yee did think about going 3 wide and putting Stephen O'Hare the meat in the sandwich. Clowns to the left of me, Justin Yee. Jokers to the right, Jeff Stabnow. Stuck in the middle, O'Hare. And he'll now bounce out of that battle. And here comes now the 2 slices of bread battling for 3 wide. And O'Hare wants to make Justin Yee now be the meat in the sandwich as they go into turn number 3.
And the heart of these top 3 battle, you see him just lingering behind. It's the 55 of Dan West Jr. on board with Yee on your right, and you can just see he's trying to stay as low as possible, using the apron, cut the track just a little bit, try to gain any speed he can. But the biggest trouble for the cars that are inside is slowing down just enough so you can stay right on that yellow line and still get a good run out of the exit.
Still staying right there. And now make it a 4-car battle, if you will, for that top spot.
Boy, I mean, we're seeing Jeff Stabnow now just trying to step away because of the side-by-side and trying to utilize that side drafting to bog down the drivers next to you. Justin Yee was trying to do that to O'Hare. Didn't work out. But O'Hare, since he's gotten away from Yee, he's going to try to once again attack it. As soon. This might turn into a 5-horse race. Ryan Bloom's not too far back, and he might try to make a charge here for the 25.
Definitely coming after him. We'll see what happens. What a talented group of drivers here. A nice, good run. How will things settle out?
Also starting to see that drivers thinking about pit stops here is see the chaos that has been back in around 15th position. You've got Clifford in the 23 of Toby Ritters, Kevin Smith, Troy Daggett, Judd Wakefield all around here. But we've seen a couple of drivers coming to pit road as it's been Tyler King, also Burke, Ottenbacher, and Hutchinson. All four of those drivers coming to pit road, as well as Stephen Paulson just getting out of his box. But Wesley, pit road, it's about to get extremely busy with some of our front runners when they think about coming in.
It does. It does look like we're going to be having some activity here on the pit lane in a few moments. When do the front runners come in? Right now, what a performance for the driver. Chris White says, and I quote, I picked the 83. Rose Ritters obviously riding with Clifford, Toby Ritters.
Picking and choosing who they want out there. I mean, honestly, you could have picked so many different drivers to that could have won this race tonight. I mean, I had to make an audible choice for Dan West Jr. Stephen O'Hare, though, was probably my third option, just because of the way that he's been running lately. But, man, Jeff Stabnow, I mean, what a run. He has been a rocket ship since the drop of the green flag, and somehow still fending off and holding strong at first.
So here we go. Lake Peterson, Sean Breitzman, Dan West Jr., Christopher White, Caden Anderson, and Stephen Paulison are in the playoffs. Right now, those 6 drivers are in on wins. Also, in on points is Kevin Smith in the 00 and Jeff Stabnow, Samuel Dyer in the 24 that's leading the way. Those drivers, 8 of them, 8 of 12 are right now in the playoffs.
Yeah, the 4 other positions that we're kind of looking at is Ryan Bloom, who is coming in. One of the last drivers that could point his way in, as O'Hare now trying to duck it low. O'Hare's one of those drivers that's
for the
looking
lead
a little bit outside of the bubble. He might have to get a win if he wants to get himself into the playoffs.
Watching them work their way. Battle for the lead coming up.
Oh, what a move from Dan.
Look at this. A couple of teammates. A couple of teammates. And the number 1 pick for Samuel Dyer is Dan West Jr. Charles, our producer, him's pick is Jeff Stabnow. Nobody was riding with O'Hare. Justin Yee's teammate, Lake Peterson, was the first pick for Samuel, but he's a did not arrival. DNA. He's a did not arrive. Who's it? Oh.
DNS did not show.
Yeah, DNS. You're a DNS, Lake Peterson. But I don't think he really cares because he's in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, he's got himself 6 wins this season in the Cup Series, so he's feeling pretty comfortable for that team of Lake Peterson. But it's all the guys up here that are kind of feeling a little bit in a danger zone. They need to have a good shot. And really looking at the points and where drivers lie, if no one else wins and where drivers are lying, it would be that of Stephen O'Hare coming in to take that last position in points. but he would like to have a little bit more comfort besides having to worry about Talladega next week, because
Whoa!
that is going to be a danger zone to watch out for. As O'Hare to the lead.
O'Hare to the lead, up the racetrack, had a little slip, reeled himself back in. Stabnow down to the inside for the lead. Working now, closing in on lap number 50. Working on lap 44 now, solid, and there is again new change. O'Hare to the lead, third different leader of the race, second lead change. Started this race with Dan West Jr. on the pole. Quickly, Jeff Stabnow jumped to the lead on lap number 1, or lap 2. And now, O'Hare makes a new leader.
O'Hare finally, after so much battling in these last 25 laps, finally having a shot to be in the lead, get a taste of that fresh air. And right now, I think that's the biggest factor, is once you're in the lead, wherever you can place your back bumper to the other driver's front bumper, you are cutting off that clean air. The dirty air just tightens up the cars that are behind and just makes it to where you have to really put more wheel in, you're burning off more rubber, and you are scrubbing off time that you could have been running to chase someone down, and it has been hurting. And the more that these drivers have been battling along, we talked about that of Ryan Bloom just being attached to the back bumper. Well, you can see now the 10, Cole Raz, is now on the back bumper of the 25.
Cole Raz coming after Ryan Bloom for that spot. And still a lot of racing here left to go up the racetrack. Here you go. Bloom on the inside. Cole Raz is there.
Cole Raz's one win this season was back at Homestead for round number 5 of this regular season. So for this 10, it has been a long time since he's been in victory lane. And he qualified back in 21st position, but certainly has shown that he has the pace to work his way around. As you're also seeing drivers coming into pit road. Justin Yee just ducks in, and also other drivers that have been in pit road. Sean Bridesman, he's getting service done right now.
So green flag pit stops ongoing.
That is what we are starting to see, is other drivers trickling in. Dennis Moore as well as Toby Ritters. And also Aaron Cooper. Green flag pit stops have hit. And now it's a question of when will our lead drivers come into pit road? And I think a lot of them aiming for around lap 50 to 52 for the drivers that are still out. But all these drivers looking like turning this race into a two-stop race, which has been the way that most of the season has been. It's a lot of two-stop races. We saw Phoenix kind of be a one-stopper, just the way that that race came through as more drivers into pit road, it looks like there, Wesley.
And while that goes on, Dan West Jr. is second. You got O'Hare in front of him. Working their way off the racetrack. Jeff Stabnow coming in. Earlier leader of the race, now coming in. Samuel, we are working lap number 50 now. We're on lap number 50, so I'm wondering if these guys can try to put themselves in probably a 2 or 3 tire stop for this race. That's what they're shooting for.
Yeah, it's looking like a lot of drivers aiming for the two-stop race. If anything, I would be concerned of that of Aaron Cooper, John Ottenbacher, as well as that of Scott Hutchinson. Those drivers kind of came into pit road a lot earlier, and I'm worried about their pit stops. But Sean Bridesman came into pit road about 5 laps ago, but got caught speeding, it looks like, for the 46. He was in pit road for quite a long time. Cole Raz now into pit road.
Cole Raz, whoa, boy, oh boy, I thought he was going to, well, he is sideways in his pit stall, in pit stall 21, but he's all right in the Wells Johnson entry. He's going to get 4 tires and fuel. There goes also the number 12 in. Briar Reynolds is coming down to the pit lane. Here you see the Miller Genuine Draft colors. Stephen O'Hare squilling tires in front of Raz off of pit lane. They got to stay below the racetrack. Remember last week, Samuel, at Martinsville, they had to stay below the blend line at Martinsville was right off of the pit road exit. This track here, you cannot enter onto the racetrack until right about there. The blue cone that's on the bottom of turn number 2, the white line there is the blend line, and then you can come onto the racetrack. If you do not follow the blend line rule, you will get a penalty.
Yeah, if you come up before you come across that blue line, you will get a penalty for yourself. So drivers got to be considerate of that. As Justin Yee, he's got a mess of drivers to try to get by in front of him. But certainly the 66, 4 freshies ready to get going. But yeah, last week got to see a lot of short track racing. S&B Cup Series was running at Martinsville. And then we saw that of the Northwest Racing Tour racing at that of seeing at Phoenix for both the Cup and the trucks, as well for the ARCA Series. But drivers certainly excited to be back to Mile and a Half Racing. Kentucky, the penultimate race of the regular season before playoff time. Cycling through all the different drivers that are out front as we're on board with the 72, BJ Tidrick. BJ comes in 8th in points, one of the last drivers that if he has a good run here tonight could lock himself into the playoffs, but it's up to 72 if he could get a good finish for himself.
There is Tidrick's car. Right now he is in the lead. He's not won a race since Darlington. Yeah, Darlington on the brain because we were mentioning the LTAC Cup Series Championship on Friday night. Chris White and Samuel Dyer will be on the call for that one. I've got real broadcast obligations with football and unfortunately not able to make it. Tidrick is leading. And John Ottenbacher now 2 laps down. 1 car is out of the race. Scott Hutchinson makes now 24 cars on the racetrack as we are about to come to an end of a cycle of green flag pit stops. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go side by side. Quick break. You will not – I'm sorry. We're going to go to a quick break from the words of Tom Denschel Automotive Group. We have to thank our sponsors. If anything goes wrong, we'll break in right now. Green flag pit stops have concluded. Cycling around. BJ Tidrick out in front. And we'll be back with more coverage. There's your Saw Blade top 5. As they're going 3 wide across the start-finish line. Tidrick, Daggett, Smith, King, and Jeff Stabnow, one of the front runners of the early going, as green flag pit stops are about to come to commencement. More into coverage in a moment from Kentucky, LSRTV, and CRN Sports in the Northwest iRacing Cup Series.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, right? Our Ram trucks, truck of the year, amazing trucks. We have fun Jeeps, and then the exciting Dodge and Chrysler products. Lots of performance there, lots of excitement there. They've done a great job in really creating a full scope product line that could suit everybody's needs. Whether it's a family vehicle or a fun vehicle or a utility type vehicle or a big truck, we've got it all for our customers.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland, the face with the voice of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League that you hear simulcasted on the Community Radio Network. And that's what we want to tell you about. We are excited to continue the partnership of covering esports on CRN, just like we do with all the other broadcasts that I cover in real life, like MAV TV, Short Track America, Speed 51 TV, Fox Sports Radio for college, high school sports. The Community Radio Network does the same thing. In addition to broadcasting real athletics, we're excited to be the radio voice of LSRTV's coverage of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series presented by Tom Denschel Automotive Group, the American iRacing League, and special events along the way. It's very simple. On your web browser, laptop, tablet, or cell phone, go to wearecrn.com, click on play, and you are able to keep up with the action. It's very simple. The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Check us out when you can. Esports coverage from LSRTV on CRN, the Community Radio Network, wearecrn.com.
Well, there you see my ugly mug, and now you hear my voice. We're back here at Kentucky. And still, we await 3 cars to pit. That's the drivers of BJ Tidrick, Troy Daggett, and Kevin Smith. They're going for audibles right now. When they do pit, Samuel, It will put Jeff Stabnow back to the lead here at the Kentucky Speedway as we approach just over 60 laps complete.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a great call from some of these guys that are up front for BJ Tidrick, Troy Daggett, and Kevin Smith. Their goal, get to lap 67. And 67 to 68 is their window that they're aiming for. If they can get there, they're going to transform this race from what everyone else is aiming for, a two-stop race, into a one-stop race. We've seen this at other courses where drivers have thought about, trying different audible calls. And honestly, our top three, they are trying something dangerous. And honestly, it's working out right now because Jeff Stabnow is right now in a heap of trouble as BJ Tidrick, they're trying to move themselves forward because right now, Jeff Stabnow finally getting by Cole Raz. We'll wait and see when these drivers have to come into pit road of our front three.
Yeah, we're watching it here as we keep an eye on what's going on. And currently watching this performance of all these guys. And there's another battle. There's a big battle, a three-car battle, if you will, for that position as they come back off the corner.
This is for seventh.
Daggett and Smith. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to say Tidrick pitted, Samuel. I was going to say now Daggett and Smith are now the only two that have not pitted yet. And you got Cole Raz now moving back into the top spot whenever they finally do.
Yeah, and it looks like BJ Tidrick now coming out of pit road, into pit road with Troy Daggett at lap 64. So Kevin Smith, the last besides that of Dennis Moore. Dennis Moore, also another one of those drivers that still hasn't pitted based on our ticker. But, man, I'm wondering for Kevin Smith, if he can run another 2 more laps, the potential of him cutting a whole entire pit stop away would be massive. But right on his back bumper is everyone else having to come into pit road is that of Kevin Smith. But this could be his final pit stop.
He tried. I mean, literally, he tried. He literally has cut the margin to show that he could run over 65 and a half laps, 66, if you will, on a green flag run. We're a couple of laps to halfway here in the outdoor cast iron cooking 200. Or the cast iron outdoor cooking 200. My apologies. I always get those sponsors backwards. But anyhow, man, he has proven, Samuel, he could probably pit one time if we don't get overtime or anything like that. And if that happens, obviously, late race cautions, it's going to change it. He'll probably come to the pits. But he could possibly set himself up to go the complete distances right now. Cole Raz is leading the way. The number 10 of Cole Raz. That's the driver out of Lake Oswego, Oregon. Out in front, one of the Alan Kulbicki Driver Development Champions, riding for Matty Milson, Tom Roberts. For the Alan Kulbicki Driver Development Program, a real racer on the Spears SRL Southwest Tour. And now he leads the way as we are after halfway here tonight at Kentucky, Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, Cole Raz is his 11th start of the season, coming in with his one win, being that of Homestead on round number 5, and only having one top 5, which was that win, and 5 top 10s. This 10 machine, what a move for himself, though. I mean, Cole Raz, he started all the way back in 21st position, and since the drop of the green flag, he has only been moving forward, finally up front, and now defending from that of Stephen O'Hare, as well as others. But here goes BJ Tidrick trying to get himself back on the lead lap after trying to stretch it as far as he did.
Just after halfway, let's give you your full field rundown as it stands. Approaching lap number 70. Full field rundown. Cole Raz leads the way. And I'll tell you what, while we're doing that, let's just go above the view high, presented by All American Pools. Cole Raz is leading the way. There you see the number 10 car. A good, strong run. We're looking to see if he can get another win on the season. He's the man out in front right now, right behind him, by mere hundredths of a second. Reeling in for the lead on the inside is Stephen O'Hare. He's in that second spot. Jeff Stabnow, watching this battle going on. He's in the third spot. He's in the silver or the bronze position. Watching gold and silver battle of O'Hare and Raz. And now O'Hare to the lead. Raz to second. Stabnow is third. Back about second and a half is Dan West Jr., my colleague Samuel's pick, and the pole car in the number 55. Chris White right there in fifth, to almost 3 seconds back, if you will. Chris White to the leader of Raz. In the sixth position, it is the driver of Dennis Moore, and you see him nestled right there. Behind him is Ryan Bloom. Good runs for them, just about 4 seconds back to the leader, or 3.5 seconds back. In eighth, Justin Yee, about 4.5 seconds back, 5 seconds and growing for Justin Yee in the 66 car. Eighth, ninth is Casey Garber, the 94 car, about 5 seconds back there in the ninth position. And how about it for Toby Ritter's Big Red, the Budweiser car. Clifford looking good, Samuel, as we continue to go through the entire field rundown, high above with coverage presented by All-American Pools at Kentucky.
Yeah, and then from Toby Ritter's in 10th, we fall back to 11th, where we find that of Judd Wakefield, and also finding that of the 02 of Matt Gelder, going to be in that 12th place position. And behind him, up 4 positions from where he started, Frank Harris in the 11. Also moving up 9 positions in 14th is BJ Tidrick, and in 15th, he is right where he qualified, 15th position, Aaron Cooper in the 71. Just trying to keep a stable day today. Back in 16th, up 9 positions, Troy Daggett in the 51. And honestly, from here on out, it's all the drivers that have had issues in pit road. Sean Bridesman down 15 positions as well. Back 12 positions is the 00 of Kevin Smith. Then you got Tyler King back here. Tyler King going on a very odd strategy for himself. He knows he's going for 2 pit stops, but he pitted it on around lap 30, and then he just pitted a couple of laps ago for this 21. So he's going with an off-ball strategy, trying to gain positions with a different call from everyone else. Back is the 53 of Carl Burke in 20th.
In the 21st position, it is going to be the driver of Briar Reynolds. He's the car on the lead lap, as well as Stephen Paulison of the 58 machine. Those 2 drivers still on the lead lap. And then you go through the rest of the rundown, including positions 23 and 24. John Audenbacher is the driver 3 laps down in the 23rd spot. My apologies. Everybody from Troy Daggett down to Stephen Paulison is a lap down. Then it's 3 laps down for John Audenbacher, who we're talking about in 23rd. 24th, 9 laps down is Corey Walters, and 1 car off the racetrack, 44 laps down, but he is now being scored as out of the race, is the 91 of Scott Hutchinson. As we approach lap number 75, a battle for the lead, Raz, O'Hare, lap traffic in the midst of the leaders, and also Stabnow and White are coming in turn 1.
Yeah, just that now just had one of the bigger scares. He found himself getting a little bit out of sorts for himself. Got loose, almost brushing the outside wall, which cost the 24 some time and a position. Dan West Jr. not going to be up to 3rd. But yeah, looking at our front 4, they're keeping it close to one another, still within about 2 seconds of one another, and trying to keep it as close as possible, because this next pit stop is going to be so important. It's going to be their money stop around lap 100 to 105 is that window we're looking for these drivers to come back into pit road. But for some of the guys that have stretched it out so far, I'm wondering for the 00 of Kevin Smith, he's going to be the driver on, really he's going to be the oddball driver for this 00. He stretched it out to lap 66. Can he make it to the end? Because my window will look like he needed to get to 67 to 68 if he was going to turn this race into a 1-stop. He's going to be 2 to 4 laps short unless he can extremely save on this run.
The battle for the lead, 3-car battle, as they finally got a little daylight of lap cars not in front of them. But it is still heated with now the machine of Cooper, lap car out of the way. Has to try to pull away, but not by much, because here comes now Stephen O'Hare down to the inside. Dan West Jr. right there. And by the way, that's hashtag fake news on my part. So much for the clean air or the open air of lap cars. There is lap cars all around them as they just cleared bug eyes of Aaron Cooper in 71, and now also Frank Harris is in front of them. If the caution was to come out, which has so far been a caution-free race, Aaron Cooper would get scored the free pass, the lucky dog, if you will, to come back on the lead lap, unless he's a part of the accident or involved in the accident, goes to the next car. But by the way, also Frank Harris coming to the pit lane. The 11 truck, they were about to pass him. He would go a lap down. And while that happens, it is Cole Raz leading the way. O'Hare, West, Stabnow, White the top 5. And there's that battle now about to become a 3-car battle, Sammy D, for the lead as they come back across the start-finish line.
Yeah, looking at the last lap times right now, Dan West Jr. going to be running about a tenth faster than the drivers in front of him, but really, it's been a lot of cat and mouse games being played of our front runners. At times, you see some drivers fall back, and then they move forward. As we've dropped back to see what's going on in the middle of this field, as this is around Ryan Bloom, as well as Casey Garber, and BJ Tidrick, and that of Toby Ritter's. A lot of lap traffic moving forward, making some charge, but the Hornets' Nest around 10th position, where drivers are sliding back and forth. Casey Garber up to 8th. Now up to 7th as Jeff Stabnow into pit road for the 24.
Jeff Stabnow coming in. Strategy or not? Possibly could be the money stop. Could be the one to go to the finish, you think. What are you thinking, Samuel?
I'm thinking this is unscheduled. I mean, it was looking like we were going to see the 24 try to stretch it to around 95 to a lap 100. This is about 10 to 15 laps earlier than I thought he was going to see. I'm trying to take a look to see if he's got maybe any damage on that right side. He was getting close to that outside wall, but it's 4 tires and a good for the 24. Jeff Stabnow, I mean, it might be just a call. Extreme undercut. Try to gain time that he felt like he was losing from getting loose during that after that first green flag pit stop.
Yeah, we've got our production crew and spotters in the pits giving the information back to Charles Wooten in the production chair to find out what the strategy is on the 24 of Jeff Stabnow. We'll have, hopefully, a report here in just a moment as we are approaching lap number 85 of this deal next time around being complete. Stephen O'Hare now the leader, and in doing so, Stabnow has fell back a lap down, and they're 3 wide going at it with a lap car on the inside of Ottenbacher.
Oh, lap traffic influencing just a little bit. We knew it was going to be possible for lap traffic to influence John Ottenbacher. Just a little bit of a tap, but it's going to be all right for our leaders. But that 89 wants to go, and there's still 3 wide. Contact!
Oh, there's contact. Oh, no. O'Hare through the infield. Pounds it down to the inside. Ottenbacher, I think, keeps going. And there is the caution. Trouble first time. Yellow. Calamity. Fighting for the lead, Samuel Dyer. What is your take of that? 3 wide.
I mean, it's aggressive racing, but here's your Pulse Popper's instant replay. It's just aggressive racing. You got our leaders that are racing for position, and if you're a lap car trying to get through, that's just such a difficult spot. I mean, you got O'Hare who went on the apron, and you're expecting room to be placed, and it was just a pinch. There's where the caution lied, with the 89 being sideways on course and taking a toe to pit road, but you don't really expect to see a lap car challenging this hard unless they're on much fresher tires than the rest of the field. And I think for Ottenbacher, he was on fresher tires, but he didn't make the pass quick enough, which made our leaders try to get aggressive at one another, seeing that there was an opportunity to make a pass for the lead, and it just didn't work
here's
out.
my take, Samuel. Here's my take, Samuel. I believe we're going to see a lot of cars come down to the pit lane. I don't think Jeff Stabnow is, and I think he's going to take the wave around and the one to go and go back on the lead lap.
Yeah, Jeff Stabnow for sure going to be on that call, on that move. It's difficult to say if anyone else. I think maybe Frank Harris could be another one of those drivers to get himself back on one lap, but oh man, what a call this was.
So that work is going on as you see Cole Raz and Casey Garber Judd Wakefield, all these drivers coming in and having work done on their cars as we finally have a caution flag. Welcome back inside our broadcast position for now. Wesley Outland is here with you. Joined alongside is Samuel Dyer as well, as we'll be getting ready to re-rack them and restack them, and we'll try to go again here. Lap number 88 of 134. And again, we hope you've enjoyed the first half of the race. And Samuel, I think suffice to say, this has been a clean race than what we expected it to be. And I'm happy with that. But right now, I'm very disappointed lap cars got in the way battling with cars for the lead. There's a race. You're not in it. Get out of the way. Your Ottenbacher's stance on the whole deal. I know you're fighting. I know you're racing. I think I'm checking, timing, and scoring. He was way in the back, 5 laps down. I mean, it's the equivalent of when I done the All-American 400, and you've got Casey Roderick, a lap car, battling the finish for Mason Mingus and Chandler Smith trying to win the All-American 400 at Nashville. It's not your race. You shouldn't be in the battle. I don't know what happened there. Ottenbacher calls that caution. But again, I think a lot of strategy so far in this race.
It wasn't a clean room or a move at all. It was something you expect these drivers to really challenge one another and go for a chance to be equal with one another and letting our leaders battle. But I mean, if you're a lap car, you got fresh tires, make the pass quick. If you cannot make that pass immediately, get out of the way. I mean, I know that Ottenbacher was trying to get himself on the lead lap, but you killed so many strategies for a lot of drivers out there. And you got a lot of drivers that are going to be on even worse strategies now because a lot of the field took tires. And now you got drivers that had to take wave rounds and hope that there's going to be a quick caution.
I would say this, Samuel, if John Ottenbacher was a lap or 2 down, maybe a lap down, I could understand the aggressive driving with the leaders trying to get back on the tail end of the lead lap to get that lucky dog, to get the free pass, if you will, to go back. But 5 laps down, come on, man, for sure. But I'll tell you what, let's go back to the on-track activity. We've seen great performances by Jeff Stabnow. Obviously, Dan West Jr., your pick, looking really good as well as we go back to some more on-track action here as we get ready for the restart. And like I said, Samuel, I really believe we're going to see the wave around, and a lot of these cars are going to go by the pace car and give their chance an opportunity to try to get back on the lead lap and race towards the finish, because we still have about 45 laps to go.
Oh, absolutely. Looking like we're going to have about 21 drivers on the lead lap, so still a lot of chances for these drivers, but they're on much older tires. They're going to need a quick caution so they can get at least back on the same strategy of tire-wise as the rest of the field.
Field will make their way back to the Geico restart zone for the first time tonight. And we are waiting the green flag. Cole Raz, Dan West Jr. Christopher White has had a nice, comfortable run. Justin Yee's back up in there as well in 4th. Out of the top 5, Dennis Moore. Ryan Bloom, Toby Ritters, Judd Wakefield, Matt Gelder, and Casey Garber, the top 10 after the pit stops. The field will come back to green flag on lap 91 with 90 laps officially completed. Cole Raz, Dan West Jr., ready, cleaning off those tires, trying to make a run here in the cast iron outdoor cooking 200. Place your bets. We're down to the home stretch at Kentucky, the penultimate race. Back to green for the Cup Series. Remember, the trucks will do battle here at Kentucky on Wednesday night as well. And playoffs continue for the S&B Cup Series. Coverage on LSRTV and on the Community Radio Network back underway. And Cole Raz is gone, Samuel Dyer. He has checked out.
Yeah, looking very similar to the way that this race started when we saw Jeff Stabnow just pull away immediately. And This seems to be the strategy for Dan West Jr. Just let the car that wants to be out front, let them go, burn up their rubber, and he'll catch back up to you. As, looking at this field, you got Chris White in third. Chris White, I mean, a driver that's also won at a mile-and-a-half course earlier this season for round number 10, won at Charlotte. So you know that there is some drivers up front that have won races this season at mile-and-a-half courses and will be and could be a major threat. I think for me, Justin Yee has to be the biggest wild card in fourth place. Hasn't won yet at mile-and-a-half courses, but we have seen the speed for that 66 all season long.
We certainly have. Closing in on lap 100. Raz, West, White, Yee, Moore, top 5. And look at Yee on the inside of White, battling for that spot. This is for third. He's trying to get on the podium. Dennis Moore licking his chops, ready to pounce like a cold cobra on his prey. Down to the inside, Yee and White battle. And while that goes on, Dan West Jr. sees that battle. He pulls away. And Cole Raz is in his own world right now.
Yeah, Raz as well as Justin Yee 2 laps ago put down both of their fastest laps of the day. They are knowing that it is time to go. The potential of a wreck, yes, is still looming. But if there isn't a wreck, get the gap as big as you can. And that's what Cole Raz is going for. He actually put down the fastest lap with a 30.77 second lap time. The next fastest driver was Justin Yee, and everyone else about a tenth lower than that. It's showing to me, Cole Raz, he's understanding, hey, I'm up front. Let's utilize this fresh air, and let's go fast.
Ready, it's go time. They know it's time to hit that go pedal button as we're hitting 40 laps remaining here at Kentucky. Welcome to coverage. LSRTV, at LSRTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Of course, at CRN Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. LiveSimRacing.com, and we are CRN.com. And while you're doing that, put in the Northwest Racing Cup Series or Northwest Racing Series on social media, preferably Facebook, and you can keep up to date if you're a racer of the Northwest and want to be a part of the series. They have the ARCA Development Program. You move into the Cup and then the Trucks. And believe it or not, the Trucks is the premier series for the Northwest iRacing Series. It is, the Cup cars are fun. They're in Season 2. This is Season 8 for the Trucks. And we'll have the Trucks here in Kentucky as that battle with Justin Yee, Dan West Jr., Chris White, 3, 4, 5, going on into turn 2.
And Yee able to move up into fourth position. Chris White up to second. It's Dan West Jr. who just is content to fall in back, it looks like. He just is running about a groove or more higher, and it's giving just enough space for another car to get underneath the 55. And right now, I think we're seeing just two different mentalities right now. We're seeing the drivers, they're saying, hey, this could be our final stint. Let's get out front as quick as possible. And other drivers thinking, hey, this could be our final stint, so why don't I save my tires for the final 20 laps to make my late surge? And we're also seeing a lot of guys right on top of one another. You got Dan West Jr. fading back and forth, trying to make move. Judd Wakefield in the 50. He's also making some moves as Ritter's almost clipping Casey Garber there.
The outdoor cast iron cooking 200 approaching lap 100. And while this goes on, watch this. You see the leader, Cole Raz? He is in his own little world, 2.2 seconds back, right there. Behind him, Christopher White, and show that is a hornet's nest. A storm is brewing from White to Tidrick. 2nd to 11th, a 10-car battle. All of those cars could have a chance to battle for the win. Even Tidrick, even Ritter's, they're all in this battle. 10 cars for second in turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, right now I'm keeping my eye on this hornet's nest, and of course it'd be Chris White and Justin Yee, the Bumblebee machine, making the 66 up front. But yeah, I mean, it's those drivers that are further back in this group, I mean, that are kind of looking a little terrifying with the side-by-side action, but also got to keep our eyes out on the last laps that have been placed down. When will we see the transition of drivers running a little bit faster than our leader Cole Raz? And it just happened this past lap almost a full tenth faster was Chris White over that of Cole Raz. The question is, if we stay green to the end of the race, is 2.2 seconds a big enough gap between Raz and White for Raz to win this race?
The outdoor cast iron cooking 200 is in its final 35 laps as we've now approached lap 100. 101 now on the board. And Cole Raz, the leader in the number 10. You have the number 83. By the way, Cole Raz is not officially in the playoffs. I know it says he's in bold green. But Samuel, with this win tonight, he might go ahead and make that a fruition. Turn it into a reality.
For Cole Raz, his biggest thing is just show up for these last, for today's race and next week and hope that it's enough starts for this 10 machine. He got his win back in week number 5, and ever since then, he's periodically shown up every other week, it seems like, but he's only counting today, has had 11 starts, and it's a percentage of how many starts you need to be for each race. So for Cole Raz, he's got to cross his fingers and hope that he's made enough starts for that win that he got back in week 5. And if he wins here today, for both of these wins to count and to put him into the playoffs.
I think there's something new in regards to percentage. Wins don't mean anything unless you're in the top 20 in the points. And, of course, right now, a performance, Christopher White looking good. We know Chris White's in the playoffs. Good run for him right now. I believe he was the Indianapolis winner, the Charlotte winner, in the number 83. Justin Yee. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. You were talking more about Chris White, Samuel.
Yeah, Chris White got his win back at Charlotte for round number 10. That's when he got that win for himself. And since then, it's been a lot of just staying consistent for this 83 team, of trying to just stay in the top 10 week after week. And right now, going for a top 5.
And I will tell you this as well. You got Justin Yee, who's in third. And honestly, he's come close several times, been competitive, and just made mistakes. It would cost him, or he get caught up in a late race accident. For right now, he is sitting comfortable in the third spot. Down the stretch they come in the outdoor cast iron 200. Final break. We'll go side. We will take one more break. If anything goes wrong, we will break in. Right now, they're all nestled comfortably. Saw blade top 5, top left down the screen. There they are. Cole Raz, Chris White, Justin Yee, Dennis Moore, Dan West Jr., presented by SawBlade.com. When we come back, the run to the checkers. Who's going to win? Kentucky. We return LSRTV and CRN Sports coverage of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series, presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group.
Every customer, every single time, needs to get our very best. From moment one, my goal managing a team here in the dealership is to make sure that that customer's experience is the very best that they've ever had. We expect and demand total transparency. There should never be a time in that transaction where the customer is wondering or not quite sure of what they're buying or what they're paying or those sorts of things. And having that transparency and doing things the right way is super important.
Hey, it's Wesley Outlet on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, S&B Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the Community Radio Network, at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Shootout time here at Kentucky. No change in those positions as Cole Raz, top 5 stay the same. Up 20 spots to be the man of the leader from Lake Oswego, Oregon. Cole Raz on in front. Christopher White second. Justin Yee third. Dennis Moore and Dan West Jr. The top 5 as we approach what is the final 25, under 25 to go. Caution, we settle in for the finish. What's your take on things? And what a performance by Cole Raz. Razzle dazzle. It seems like lately it's been Caden Anderson or Cole Raz, and flip-flop that. Normally when Cole Raz is here, Caden Anderson struggles. Now Caden Anderson's not here. Cole Raz is excelling.
Yeah, Cole Raz, maybe not having the best qualifying run for himself, qualified back in 21st position, but he marched his way up to the front around lap 60 was when he finally found getting the lead position, and he really hasn't looked back since it. But when that late caution came out, these drivers around lap 100, the difference in the gap between first and second was 2.2 seconds. It is gone down by almost a full second. Cole Raz, he built up that lead, but the way that we're seeing second back to fifth, gaining up on our leader, I'm getting concerned for Cole Raz that he might have burned up those tires too soon.
Down the stretch again. Laps ticking away. The man out in front, Cole Raz. I mean, we had segments of this, right? And I'll be honest with you, Samuel, with the exception of the crazy lap car of Audenbacher causing the leaders to kind of get together with O'Hare, and other than that, it's been a fairly quiet race. It's not. I'm not saying it's been a bad race. It's just been a quiet race. No yellow flag calamity. Only one caution, and as we approach 20 laps to go, you got to wonder if somebody's going to hit the go button and the patience level is going to go into overdrive, and we're going to start seeing some shenanigans here coming down the stretch, or do we settle in ourselves here happily and bring it to the checkered flag?
I mean, I think right now we're probably going to be seeing these drivers stay pretty steady with one another. I mean, looking at the way these cars have been running all night long, there's only been a handful of moments where I've thought maybe these cars are going to get out of control and possibly a wreck's going to happen. But everyone seems to be pretty balanced. The setup came in here tonight. Everyone seemed to be pretty comfortable with it. And that's what's given a lot of these drivers have a shot to climb through the field. I mean, some of our biggest movers so far, Cole Raz is the biggest of them all, up 20 positions. In fourth place, the 44, Dennis Moore, he's up 15 positions when he qualified back in 19th place. And as well, Casey Garber back in 6th place, he's up 14. So we're seeing a lot of these drivers that might not have qualified well. They certainly are coming out to try to finish this race as well as they can with 19 laps to go.
Raz, White, Yee, Moore. West, top 5. Garber, Wakefield, Bloom. Along with Toby Ritters and BJ Tidrick, your top 10 as we have approached under 20 laps to go. 19 remaining to be exact. And there's Justin Yee, another comfortable position on the racetrack right there, settle the top 5. I'll tell you what, Samuel, Dennis Moore, nice top 5 run for him, up 14 spots tonight. He is in 5th.
Yeah, Dennis has been kind of Mr. Quiet. I think it's because we saw a lot of those other drivers that were in our top 5 struggling with different types of moves. I mean, Jeff Stabnow pitted early, was banking on this race to go green so he could have done an undercut move, but that late caution that came out put him a lap down, so he had to do a wave around, and it's now gifted a position for the 44 that was kind of looking content with a top 10 finish. But Dennis Moore now, he is on the back bumper of this lead group that's catching up to Cole Raz. There might be a spot here where we could be seeing Dennis Moore possibly try to surge for a better position here, as Justin Yee running a little bit wide as that of Dan West Jr. Still in 3rd, moving up slowly. Dan West Jr., one of those drivers I touched on right when we went green on our restart. He decided to back down and kind of let everyone else pass him, recognizing, hey, in these final 20 laps, that's when I'm going to make my surge forward.
A lot of cool cooking and grilling ideas on the world of social media. You'd like to know more information, go to Outdoor Cast Iron Cooking on YouTube. And we appreciate them sponsoring this race here tonight. And it's not been the first time they've sponsored some races for the Northwest iRacing Cup and Truck Series presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group. Big thanks to, again, Outdoor Cast Iron Cooking, Tom Denchel Automotive Group, who also want to acknowledge, of course, CRN Sports, LSRTV. Thank you again to Race on Texas, Sawblade.com. Ready to go to the finish of this event with 15 laps to go. Dan West Jr. in the wall.
Oh, he's in the wall.
Oh, my goodness. He hit the wall out of turn 4. Got to wonder how much damage is on the Shelton, Washington 55 Natives car. As here comes now Justin Yee and Dennis Moore. Look at his chops. He's about to go after him as well for that spot.
Dan West Jr. was running practically 2 to 3 tenths faster than the drivers in front of him at times. It was flying quick, and now he is finding himself in kind of a hold-on state. That damage could hurt him, but looking at the cosmetic damage right now, it's hard to tell. But the 55 obviously not running as fast as he once was.
Dan West Jr. now under attack by the Ford of Dennis Moore. Moore coming after the Chevrolet. This going on with 13 laps to go. This is for the number 4 spot. And while that goes on, Dan West Jr. damaged and all from hitting the car up against the safer wall barrier off of turn 4 is still able to hold on to 4th and trying to get after Justin Yee with 12 to go back to turn 1 in Kentucky.
I know you were trying to see exactly what damage the 55 might have had there, but riding on board on the hood cam of Dennis Moore, you could see that right side damage on the 44 a little bit as well. So you're starting to see that dirty air of following the driver in front of you tightens up the car. It kind of makes you drift up. That's what we're seeing from the 55. That probably got that major damage was when he was running right behind Chris White. Just got tighter than he was expecting and into that outside wall. But a little bit of lap traffic in front of our leader. It looked like the 00. That of Kevin Smith getting out of the way, running low, forcing our lead lap drivers to run high, which Cole Raz loving the fact that the other drivers have to run a lane that they have not been running for most of this stint.
Cooper up the racetrack down to the inside. Here goes Stab now. Boy, a weasel in front of that car. Couple of Fords battling for position there. Down to the inside. Chevrolet. 2 Fords with O'Hare also with Stab now. And Cooper in that 71, the lap car, if you will. Best battle on the racetrack. Ryan Bloom, Tidrick, Ritters, Wakefield. Remember, supposedly he got a broken hand earlier in the week, last week. Unable to make the truck race. He's back tonight. Top 10, up 6 spots in the 50. I know Miss Wakefield's got to be happy. And Judd as well. 10 to go.
I mean, getting a top 10 finish with a broken hand, recovering from a broken hand. I mean, what a showing from this 50 team. I mean, why not come out and show these guys, hey, it doesn't matter if I'm injured or not. I'm going to be putting the pressure on all of you.
And by the way, he's not done yet. He might go after more. What a good run also. I know Rose Ritters and family's got to be happy for Clifford and the big dog number 23 Budweiser car. Toby Ritters with a nice run. Here comes Tidrick on the outside. And following along will be Wakefield. All in that lap traffic, if you, or I'm sorry, lead lap cars, if you will. That's not lap traffic. 8 to go here in the outdoor Cast Iron Cooking 200 at Kentucky. Down the stretch they come. I can use that analogy because it is the state of Kentucky. It is the home of the Kentucky Derby. Churchill Downs is just up the road. Contact. Wakefield and Tidrick. They save their cars. No caution. We'll race to the finish with 7 to go.
Oh, that certainly was a scary moment right there. Judd Wakefield probably was not expecting the 72 to slow down as much. Got in his rear quarter panel. And luckily, both drivers of Judd Wakefield and as well BJ Tidrick holding on for themselves. But Oh, yeah. I mean, if I was a 17, I'd get out of the way, too, if I just got bumped like that.
Yeah, I would say get the heck out of my way, buddy, or I'm going to move you. I think the man in the cast, Judd Wakefield, a little perturbed, if you will. He's definitely a little aggravated with Tidrick. And again, hey, you're racing for position, though. Totally different deal with lap cars in front of lead lap cars. These guys are racing for position inside the top 10. This is a race going on for 8th and 9th. So, yeah, there's going to be a little bumping and banging and gouging. Kevin Smith now in the path of that tornado. But as I said, down the stretch they come. That analogy can be used with the Kentucky Derby from Churchill Downs, just down the road from Sparta, Kentucky, here in this race, virtually, at Kentucky Speedway. And it's all on the line with 5 to go. An open hand from your virtual flagman, Milton Barney, 5 Jr. Down the race finish, we settle it in here. And right now, it is all Cole Raz looking for another win in the 10.
Oh, it is great battling. The battle for the lead, the battle for third, with coming to 5. These drivers certainly are putting on a show late in this race. Cole Raz, he's got a handful. He's got Chris White, and this battle on screen, Justin Yee, Dan West Jr., 4 laps to go, Wesley, and we know up front it's going to get frisky.
4 to go. Cole Raz and Christopher White. This is down the end of things for the lead lap cars. White to the inside, up in front, and throwing the block on the 83 is Raz. 3 to go. Single file for the lead, for the finish, for the win. Into turn 2.
Cole Raz, right when we went green on that last restart, his whole entire goal
Woo!
was to just keep going and making sure that he had a big enough gap, but a gap might not have been big enough. Chris White gets on his back bumper, and it has been a cat and mouse chase, and White has gotten there. Wesley, 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go. Moving by lap traffic on the back straightaway of Troy Daggett. He gets out of way. Scampers. Battle for third on the right side of the screen there with Justin Yee and Dan West Jr. Battle for the lead. And that's where it's getting good as we go side by side with the multi-camera down the back stretch. Raz and White. He'll send it hard into turn 3, looking for the CRN1 to go this time by.
Oh boy, here they come out of 4. It's the CRN1 to go, Wesley.
Final time around MortyTail.com. Football, JV varsity, basketball. Of course, also volleyball. And soccer away. Final time. A run by White. Can he get it done? He's in that third turn. Lap car in the way.
He thought about it.
He did. He thought about it. I think he's going to back it down. Lap car. Tyler King and 4. Cast iron cooking 200 winner is Cole Raz. He might have won this race, but I still don't think he's done enough this year. Even down to the final race of the season next week at Talladega to try to punch his ticket in the playoffs. He's missed too many races, but on this night, he wins the outdoor cast iron cooking 200 at Kentucky. What a run, holding off Chris White. Dan West Jr., Justin Yee, they were battling hard, Samuel. And when it's said and done, the number 10, the driver of Cole Raz from Lake Oswego, Oregon, picking up the victory. And what a run for Wellens Johnson. And that Chevrolet prevails. Wow.
Cole Raz's whole entire plan was to go out and put down the fastest lap once we restarted after that caution that probably shouldn't have come out, but it reset the field. But Cole Raz, he took off, had a gap of 2.3 seconds at lap 100 for the final 35 laps. It was all about Raz hoping that those drivers behind him wouldn't catch him, and Chris White caught him, but the most difficult part of racing, Wesley, he couldn't make the pass.
And you see the number 10, the Chevrolet Camaro. The high five salute is coming up. Yes, but right now, a tradition by the 1992 NASCAR Winston Cup Series champion of Alan Kowicki, the Wisconsin native. And created was the Alan Kawicki Driver Development Program. You think of drivers like others, Luke Finhouse. Cole Raz is also one of the 7 that across the country at short track races from Irwindale to Five Flags Speedway at the Snowball Derby has the opportunity to race for not only tracks and series, but the Alan Kawicki Driver Cup Mighty Mouse Championship. And right now, a celebration with the Polish victory lap. But now, finish line, Samuel, they now give him the LSRTV Northwest high five salute.
Yeah, he's just.
I'm ready to
there
see that
engines
glancing
gone.
glow come in.
He was hit a couple of times, but we're wondering if there's anyone else left out there. A lot of blown engines.
Here he
they
comes!
come.
Oh, Chris White. Well, there went the hood. Oh, the smoke clears at Kentucky. Winner here in the outdoor cast iron cooking 200. Let's take a look at the unofficial results presented by sawblade.com. It came down to the wire. Cole Raz over Christopher White when it's said and done. Dan West Jr. We'll talk to the top 3 on the podium here in just a moment. Justin Yee is 4th. Dennis Moore is 5th. Toby Ritters, Casey Garber, Ryan Bloom, Judd Wakefield with a cast in his arm for 6 weeks. Samuel Dyer, Sherry Wakefield just let us know 10 seconds back in 9th. And BJ Tidrick, they had a little interesting racing down the stretch. They play nice at the finish and settle for a top 10.
Yeah, I mean, the gloves were off those final 10 laps, but they certainly did survive. In 11th, we're going to be finding that of Jeff Stapp now with Matt Gelder, as well as Aaron Cooper, Stephen Paulison, Tyler King, top 15 with that of Troy Daggett, Kevin Smith, Sean Bridesman, as well as Kevin Franks and Brian Reynolds, finishing out your top 20.
And 21st on the track, we'll find Stefan O'Hare 2 laps down. In 22nd, 23rd, John Annenbacher, controversial or not, he had a bad night when it was said and done. 52 laps down at the finish. Only yellow flag of the race, mind you, because of lap car Annenbacher fighting for the top spot. Corey Walter, 68 laps down in 24th and unable to finish the race. The only DNF for the night is the 91 of Scott Hutchinson, 104 laps down after 30 laps in to the event. When we come back, 30 laps into the event, my apologies, 30 laps into the event. When we come back, Kentucky Speedway, we'll grab a word with our top 3 on the podium. Cole Raz, all coming up as he wins again in the outdoor cast iron cooking 200 for the Northwest iRacing Cup Series presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group. But I just don't think he has enough to punch his ticket in for the playoffs. One race to go, Talladega next week. Trucks will race here on Wednesday night, and you can watch it on LSR TV and listen on the Community Radio Network. We wrap up from virtual Sparta, Kentucky for iRacing when we return.
Every customer, every single time, needs to get our very best. From moment one, my goal managing a team here in the dealership is to make sure that that customer's experience is the very best that they've ever had. We expect and demand total transparency. There should never be a time in that transaction where the customer is wondering or not quite sure of what they're buying or what they're paying or those sorts of things. And having that transparency and doing things the right way is super important.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland, the face with the voice of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League that you hear simulcasted on the Community Radio Network. And that's what we want to tell you about. We are excited to continue the partnership of covering esports on CRN, just like we do with all the other broadcasts that I cover in real life, like MAV TV, Short Track America, Speed 51 TV, Fox Sports Radio for college, high school sports. The Community Radio Network does the same thing. In addition to broadcasting real athletics, we're excited to be the radio voice of LSRTV's coverage of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group, the American iRacing League, and special events along the way. It's very simple on your web browser, laptop, tablet, or cell phone, go to wearecrn.com, click on play, and you are able to keep up with the action. It's very simple. The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Check us out when you can. Esports coverage from LSRTV on CRN, the community radio network, wearecrn.com.
Welcome back to coverage of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series presented by Tom Denschel Automotive Group and the Outdoor Cast Iron Cooking 200. I am Wesley Outland, joined alongside Samuel Dyer. We'll wrap things up here in a moment from virtual Kentucky, getting ready for the trucks on Wednesday night. And one more race remains after that here this week. It's on to Talladega for final opportunities for 4 drivers to make it into the playoffs, whether by points or wins. We'll have it for you on the Community Radio Network at LSRTV. It should be a barn burner from Talladega, a wild card, if you will, to set the run for the playoffs next week. Anyhow, we're back here, going to grab a word with a third-place finisher. Again, big win for the driver of Cole Raz. We'll talk to the driver of Lake Oswego, Oregon in just a moment. But the third place, the driver, of course, of the Shelton, Washington, Dan West Jr., Samuel Dyer's pick. You will settle on the podium. Pretty wild, but a comfortable race tonight. Dan, was it not what you expected it to be like it turned out to be?
I felt like it was a lot more racier than I thought it was going to be. It was actually pretty fun. I felt like I was able to save my stuff there towards the end, give up some positions, and thought I would be able to get up there with Chris and Cole and make a race out of it. I mean, congratulations to Cole on that win, and congrats to Chris for making a good race out of it. But ended up sticking it in the fence, so I slid back a couple positions, and fortunately was able to pull out the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, Dan, we saw how fast you could be with your pole position that you grabbed, but then we saw your strategy of falling back. Was the dirty air ever a factor for you, or were you just feeling comfortable that you could just pass everyone because they were burning off their tires?
Well, I think my strategy was I didn't have the speed like Cole at the beginning there that last run. We went green. I mean, he was bad fast. I just didn't have that speed. I was the only thing I had going for me was just to save my stuff and come back up through there. So that's kind of was my strategy. But when you get back in there, the dirty air was pretty bad. So it was, you just had to try to stay out in the clean air the best you could.
You look at this race, Dan, and you look at these final races, especially this 5-week stretch we've seen a lot of contenders. What's the mindset next week? Talladega, you're in the playoffs. How do you go about the race next week to just, get ready for the first race of the playoffs at Indy? What's your take? Do you try to go for the win, or do you maybe give an opportunity for somebody that might be on the cusp of the outside looking in? The teammate cut scenario, does that come into picture of maybe trying to help some guys out?
Yeah, definitely. We got John Ottenbacher, who's our teammate that's not in yet. So I think our goal as a team is to push him to the victory.
There you go. Sponsors, man. Third place.
Tom Denschel Auto Group, thank you very much for coming aboard. Effective Web Solutions, LSRTV, you guys are the best. Cascade Cooking Grill, I believe that's the sponsor.
Outdoor cast iron cooking.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Outdoor cast iron cooking. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that. And congrats, Cole, again. That was an awesome race. Thanks, guys.
I just want to make them happy because I know they're watching the broadcast as well. And again, Dan, yes, Dan West Jr. from Shelton, Washington, getting it done on the podium. He'll finish third spot here tonight at the Kentucky Speedway. Runner-up in the race, Chris White. Man, so close in the CWR race and entry forward. You literally on the cusp of getting Cole Raz racing, battling. Your take of tonight's race at Kentucky, and you finish in the silver position.
Yeah, Wesley, it was sure a fun race for sure. Long green flag runs. I didn't expect that, but that's what we got for most of this race. And then that caution came in and kind of reset things a little bit. But I don't particularly like Kentucky. So to come out of here, to come out of here with the top 3 and be up there battling, with the best of the best. And Cole Raz and Dan, I know, was closing back in, but to run with these guys up front is just awesome. And to come out of here, like I said, with Kentucky, I'll take it. Seconds good.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, it was an awesome run to watch for you. You got to move up 9 positions from where you qualified, but we saw that you were slowly catching up to Cole there in those final 30 laps. How was it mentally seeing that you were closing in and hoping that you weren't burning off too much rubber to get as close as you could to him?
Man, Sam, I'd be lying if I wasn't sweating it. Say I was sweating to death right now, but because that's how it is. I was gripping the wheel, trying to hold my line, and man, I didn't have anything left. I think I needed maybe 5 more laps. I know I was closing in, and I had some good runs, but we did encounter some lap traffic there. Kind of stirred up the air a little bit, and on that last lap, I just couldn't get off of or into turn 3 and off of turn 4 the way I would have wanted to. So, unfortunately, wasn't able to get her done tonight.
So, Chris, we put an end to chapter here at Kentucky next week, Talladega, then on to the playoffs. What do you think we're going to see at Talladega, the wild card, next Monday and Wednesday night?
Yeah, these super speedways, I just call them a crapshoot. You just never know. Certainly, we're all going to go there. Every one of us are going to go there. We're going to try to grab a win to close out the regular season, and most importantly, that win, if we can get it, kind of captures a little bit of momentum going into the postseason and the playoffs. So that's kind of my take. I'm going to try to go there, grab that win, and carry that momentum into Indianapolis, I believe it is, and which is a good track for me.
Before we let you go, buddy, thank your sponsors. Good run, runner-up finish here tonight at Kentucky.
I appreciate it. I got White House Candle Co. It's a new thing for me. I'm making candles and wax melts. Getting ready to launch that here soon. You can check it out on Facebook at White House Candle Co. I got to thank you guys, LSRTV, as always, and Tom Tenchel Auto Group, and Cast Iron Outdoor Cooking, I believe it is. Appreciate everybody for what they do, and having a lot of fun. Looking forward to the playoffs coming up.
And I just want to reiterate and add in as well, you're going to be in the broadcast booth with my colleague Samuel, because I'm back to announcing real sports, football and racing and soccer and volleyball even today as well, that you heard on the Community Radio Network. But you're going to be calling the LTAC Cup finale at Darlington on Friday night.
Certainly, and I look forward to that. It's going to be an exciting race. I've enjoyed a couple races here with Sam. It's been a lot of fun, and look forward to more. Unfortunately, that season ends next week, so we'll see what happens after that, but certainly looking forward to joining Sam next week.
Well, I want to say thank you for filling in my absence. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Wesley. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Chris White will finish in the number 2 position when it's all said and done. We now go to Victory Lane, and the winner of the Outdoor Cast Iron Cooking 200 from Lake Oswego, Oregon, number 10, one of the drivers of the Alan Kawicki Driver Development Program. He competes full-time on the Spears SRL Southwest Tour. And, of course, another win for him this season. Cole Raz, welcome back. Congratulations. You dominated Kentucky. What a thoroughbred car, number 10.
Yeah, thank you, Wesley. It definitely feels good to be back a part of something winning again. I feel like everything in the real side of world racing has been rough for me lately, and even when I come back on iRacing, I feel like I've had a streak of bad luck. So it feels good to have a good run like this. And I'll tell you what, when we had that final restart there, I just kind of wanted to go and get as big of a lead as possible, and because I knew once the tires worn off, once you get so close and you got guys so even, like Chris and I were there at the end, you got that beach volleyball effect. Once you get tucked up behind somebody, it's so hard to get around them. So it was good. I feel like definitely used up the tires there early on, but it paid off at the end.
Yeah, it certainly did pay off there, Cole. You really got a big enough gap that was just big enough for yourself, but you didn't qualify as well. Qualify back in 21st position. You had to spend most of this first half of the race cutting through the field. How was it for you getting through this field, and how was the dirty air also for yourself?
Yeah, I feel like that was really honestly beneficial for me, having the mistake there in qualifying, didn't even really get a lap down. So starting 21st, I had to work around through traffic, and I think that just really teaches you to conserve your stuff there as you come up through the field and work that dirty air, as you mentioned. It's definitely a different breed, working through dirty air versus being out front and having all the racetrack you got. So, there's some close calls, but I feel like so many people in this series got so much respect for one another and, was able to get through there without a scratch.
So, Cole, is it only just trying to get as many wins as you can? Because is there a Hail Mary possibility you can make it in the playoffs, or is it right now just get as many wins as you can? So if there's anything, you're going to be an obstacle in these guys that are racing for a championship because you're going to be looking for W's like tonight.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Wesley. I have no clue where I'm even at in points or how many races there are left up until the playoff starts. So I've been so out of the loop on it.
Talladega's next week.
Oh boy, perfect. I've been so out of the loop doing real racing. So, I try and make as many as possible. And unfortunately, was out last week. Just had an injury from our race before over in Stockton, California. So, I'll see what I can do. If I have to play a spoiler, I'll be more than happy to do that.
So here's the deal, Cole. You are currently 19th in the points, up 4 spots with this win tonight. This is your second win of the season. I'm thinking you're going to have to pull a Hail Mary, especially by virtue of not enough starts. I think you've got 12 starts now, or 11 starts now, counting tonight. Out of 15, I believe, you're going to have to pull some kind of a Hail Mary at Talladega next week to possibly maybe get the number 12 seed. If these other guys struggle, do you go for it?
I mean, I'm always gonna go for it, but I mean, if we don't make it, we don't make it, and I'll go win as many races as possible and go cheer on Caden Anderson during the playoffs.
He's done a phenomenal job. He's also already locked in the playoffs already. Man, thank your sponsors. Congratulations to you.
Thank you again, Wesley. Big thank you to LSRTV Outdoor Cast Iron Cooking for hopping on board for tonight's title sponsor, Wells Johnson Master Wrench, and we'll keep working on it, and we'll go win some more races.
So Caden Anderson has 2 wins, and now Cole Rass has 2 wins in his 11 starts to go with 2 top 5s and 6 top 10s. That's the driver, of course, out of Oregon. A big As we welcome you back up here in our broadcast position, Samuel Dyer getting a little thirst quencher caught on the camera. Samuel, one more race left to go, my friend, and that is Talladega. I think suffice to say, all bets are off. We're going to see one hell of a race for the Cup cars and the trucks next week. And we still got to get the trucks out of the way here at Kentucky on Wednesday night. But, man, talk about Cole Raz, what a job he did. And there's still a chance, a glimmer of hope he could make the postseason. But I think he's got to pull a rabbit out of a hat. And I think to do that, he's got to sweep Talladega next week as well, like tonight at Kentucky. Your thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Cole Raz, certainly one of the drivers that really showed here tonight. He was willing to work through adversity to get himself up front, and once he got up front, it was a way no one else really had a shot at it. But I think for making the playoffs, if he does have the most starts, he's going to have to try to plead his way to get in, because 2 wins during the regular season, trying to go for number 3 next week, which next week at Talladega, it is going to be all about teamwork. This Cup Aero package is all about finding friends, track position, and if you're up front, you're most likely going to be the car to win.
And teammates will become friends, and then teammates will become enemies. They might turn on one another. You heard what Dan West Jr. say. Our goal now is to try to help Ottenbacher. We saw the bad luck that John Ottenbacher had battling with lap cars tonight. I'm not saying I agree with Ottenbacher's position of doing that, but then at the end of the day, Samuel, he needs points. He needs positions. He needs to do everything he can to try to punch his way in the playoffs. So you got a guy like Cole Raz that's trying to win, to pull the Hail Mary, to make it in the playoffs. You got guys that are in the playoffs that already know they're racing for a championship. They're just going to go after the W. You've got guys that might be ready to settle vendettas or scores of things that happened on the racetrack earlier in the year. And then you got a guy like Ottenbacher or Briar Reynolds or Toby Ritters that are like on the cusp of making the postseason. Judd Wakefield as well. They just need to have a decent finish, a good run, a little bit of help, a little bit of luck, and they're going to go to the race for a championship too.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, is that little bubble spot that we're seeing for the drivers that could point their way into the playoffs. It got even shorter. I mean, it got a lot closer here tonight because some of those drivers that needed to have good days faltered. They found themselves having not the best showing. For Tyler King, O'Hare, I mean, they were the drivers that were right at the bubble. They faltered, and that gave room for Toby Ritters and also some other drivers to point their way even closer. So the gap to get in at Talladega is going to be extremely thin. And Talladega Superspeedway Racing, it's always the big one we're waiting for. And who might be caught up in that and might see their playoff chances snuffed out in just a moment.
And like we always say about Talladega or Daytona, it's not a matter of if the big one happens. It is when. It could happen in the middle of the race, the beginning of the race, or even coming to the checkered flag, or even in overtime. This is Talladega. This is LSRTV /CRN, the Northwest iRacing Cup Series, Truck Series. It should be fun as we look forward to that race next week. One more time, a look at the awesome track that is Kentucky under the lights. Samuel, it's been a fun time working with you. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage as well. When it's all said and done, it is the driver of Cole Raz picking up the victory. So for Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten, and everybody at Rocket Media and LSR TV, the Community Radio Network, for Samuel Dyer, for my colleague Greg Rentz, who will be back in a couple of weeks. He's taking a leave of absence for a while just to have a breather. I'm Wesley Outland. Congratulations again to Cole Raz. One race to Talladega. The next race is the S&B Cup Series. That will be on Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, as they're also in the playoffs. And then back here for the Outdoor Cast Iron Cooking 200 for the Northwest iRacing Truck Series on Wednesday night on LSR TV and CRN Sports at 11:35 Eastern Time. Be good to one another. Thank you for watching or listening. Replays will be up in a bit. Keep on praying for America. God bless. We'll do it again next Monday. Talladega, a wild card for the playoffs, for a championship. It should be wild. The Northwest iRacing Cup Series, presented by Tom Dinchell Automotive Group. Oh, what a fun time it's been. Good night from Virtual Kentucky.